been a nurse for 15 years in the NHS now, one of the senior nurses here, one of the matrons. Basically look after quite a large team of people. I make sure that all of the audits are up to date, making sure that my team have the right training, the right support. So when the first wave hit back in March, I worked at a different trust, and at that point I was working in research, and I got given less than 12 hours notice really, be told that I'm working in ITU. I don't have a background in ITU, I did a bit of high dependency unit training, so the idea was a very scary one. My first day in the intensive care was looking after COVID patients that were ventilated and very sick. It was a really scary time, and I saw things that was awful. People dying without relatives there. And even when the relatives did come in to say their last goodbyes, not being able to do the simple things as nurses do by hugging and touching them, it was really difficult. It was a bit of a whirlwind because it happened so fast. There were so many sick people, and there were patients ventilated absolutely everywhere, and in theatres, in not the normal places, and nurses were stretched so bad that you could see people crying on a daily basis. And it was really difficult because you'd come home and some people would not even think it was real, but it was so real when I was at work and looking at all these young fit people with COVID on ventilators, but also just not having their relatives with them at a time when they probably needed to say goodbye was hard. And that was the first wave, and obviously we've been through a few waves since, and in this wave is different. I then had to redeploy my staff to work in intensive care, and knowing what they were about to face was probably the hardest thing. So I kind of took it upon myself to make sure that I contacted them frequently on a weekly basis, but also go into intensive care and talk to them there and reassure them that it won't be forever, and that they were doing an absolutely amazing job helping the patients and everyone else. And it's just hard because we're all really tired now, and we know that it's not gone away, and it's going to be hard still for a very long time. It's hard to put into words how much it's affected us. I think for me personally, I'm a different person. I see things very differently. I try not to take too many things for granted. And as a manager, it's hard because it takes so much out of you reassuring everyone and supporting everyone. It's too hard. It's just hard functioning. Some days are really difficult. You don't even want to come to work because you know that the struggles are there every day. They don't go away. I work so many hours additional each week because the demand for the job is quite high at the moment. We're all in the same boat, and we're all striving for the same thing. So our patients are the thing that keep us going. You know, life is really precious. It can be taken away, and you know that as a nurse you do. But this virus came and swept and took too many people, and it's still taking too many people. It's hard to see people struggle, and some people have got such like post-traumatic stress, because when you see so many people die at work every day from something that you just don't quite understand what on earth is going on, it's just an awful feeling. And you know, even the Thursday night clapping, I didn't like that, and not in a disrespectful way, but I had a lady that died, a young lady that died, and we invited her relatives in for the last moments, and it was just the most awful thing. She was young, in her 20s, dying of COVID, and when she passed away, I walked her relatives out, and I took my PPE off so they could actually see who I was, because I thought, you can't see me. I've got goggles on, I've got a hairnet on, I've got a face mask on and gowned up and everything. They don't know who I am, and that's just an awful thing. You've come into a very strange area, watched your loved one die. It's the first time you've seen her since she was sick, and then you go. So I walked them out, and they started applauding me, and thanking me. And I thought, what are you thanking me for? You've just lost your wife, your daughter. That's just awful. And that's why I can't do the clapping, because I don't feel like I did a good job that day, and I didn't deserve any applause or anything. At the beginning, when I was working intensive care, I worked really long hours and was so physically and emotionally drained that I'm sure it affected my children. I couldn't spend as much time with them. I didn't even want to kiss and hug them, just the fear of giving them the virus. I am tired, and sometimes I just want to get home and not function at all, and you have to keep going when you've got children. You've got no choice, and it's just been exhausting, and I'm sure I'm not me just yet. I'm a tired version of me. I can't thank the workforce of the NHS, not just the nurses, but the doctors, the cleaners, the healthcare assistants, the admin staff, everyone that's really worked so hard to try and keep this healthcare system functioning for the last 12 months, because it has been very much at the skin of our teeth, really, to keep functioning and give a service to our patients. And without everyone's strength and determination, I'm absolutely certain that more people would have died. So it's more of a wider thank you to my colleagues. I hope it's shown the worth of the NHS, really.